Hi everybody, hope you're well and thanks for dropping on by. So what I thought I'd do, a lot of us seem to have a little bit of downtime at the moment with what's going on around the world. So I just thought I'd do a little video for those people that may be interested in purchasing a second-hand used Honda CRF 1000. Well, this is my Honda. It's the tricolour obviously. It's the 2017 model. So it's not the brand spanking new one from last year. So if you're expecting that, feel free to go and watch some of those other videos in relation to that. But this is purely down to, is about the 2017 prior model, shall we say. So here we go then. So I've had this bike for nearly 2 years now. I've put about 4,000 miles on it. It's the non-DCT model. And as I said, it's a 2017 model. So what can I say about it? I absolutely love this bike. Normally I'm a sports bike kind of guy, so history wise for myself, my previous bike to this was a 2013 Honda Repsol Fireblade. Then I've had a GSXR K2 Gixxer, and then back in the day, if those of you are similar age to me, I've had a GPZ 900R, GPZ 600R, FJ 1200, 3 VFR 750s. What else? Oh yeah, and somewhere along the line I had an Aprilia Dorsoduro 750, but predominantly I've always had sports bikes. So that's my background in motorcycling, and I've been riding since I was about 15 years of age. And I'm 15 plus 40, so yeah, work that one out for yourself. So this is really my first big adventure bike. I didn't really know much about the Africa Twin, and in fairness, I was actually in the market for a BMW GS 1200 a couple of years ago, but obviously now that's the GS 1250. Wow. Where I live on a little island between France and the UK, the island of Jersey. Sadly, our dealers locally don't carry many demonstrators in stock for, let's say, the KTMs. So that was a bike that I really liked the look of, but I couldn't try it because there was no dealers over here. So yeah, that's something I've not been able to try. I tried the BMW 1200 and the 1250, the new one, Varicam one, and I have to say, really nice bikes, but just didn't sort of tick all those boxes for me. I don't know why, but I just didn't. And even now I jump back on this and I absolutely love this, but going back to the BMWs, it just didn't float my boat for some reason. Anyway, I was in the market to sell my Fireblade a couple of years ago, so I was putting it back from race stock to road trim, shall we say, and I was in and out of the local Honda dealer over here. And just telling him what the chap in the shop there, telling him that I was looking at changing the bike, and he said, "Oh look, I've got a Africa Twin has just come in. There's the keys. Take it out and have a bit of a blast on it." So I thought, well, and I didn't really know about the Africa Twin in fairness, so I took it out. It did have an Arrow 2-into-1 full system on it, which was very poppy, bangy. That's now sat above some of my units there, so I've taken off the bike and put it back to standard, which sounds very nice anyway. Took it out and absolutely loved it, and I've loved it for the last 2 years. So I think this is the kind of bike that it would be very hard to let go, if that makes sense. So I think it's going to be a keeper for many years to come. Not to say I don't miss my sports bikes, in fairness. So what can we say about the bike? So yeah, I've had it for nearly 2 years now. It had 5,000 miles when I bought it. We're up to 9,000 miles now. And in fairness to me, I've ridden all kinds of weathers, and the bike just tends to sit in the garage until the temperature gets a little bit better. Roads are a bit dry and I'm not going to get wet. So it's a bit of a fair weather bike. Like most people who go onto these bikes, I was going to be going around the world and all that kind of thing. But the reality is 99.9% of the time, it's going to stay on the tarmac, which is basically what it does. So yeah, I absolutely love this bike. It's put 4,000 miles on it. Great for my wife who goes on the back there. It's comfortable enough, and it's just a very comfortable bike. It's not the quickest bike in this class. I mean, if you look at the KTM 1290 and the GS 1200, 1250, they've certainly got more poke than this. I think this is about 100 horsepower-ish. I'll put the figure up here somewhere. And those other bikes have got loads more horsepower, but guys, you know, how much horsepower do you need, and that will just take you to the scene of the accident a little bit quicker, and to the scene of your court appearance a bit quicker as well. So do you know what, this is enough power for me, but not to say I don't miss that thrill of twisting the throttle and setting your hair on fire, as they say. So yeah, it's a brilliant bike. I absolutely love it to bits. And if you're in the market for one of these, I think as we stand today, which is January 2021, I had a quick look in Auto Trader, which is UK resale site, and they're going between about £7,500 to £8,000 for the non-DCT one. So so yeah, they're not massively expensive, but I've always been a bit of a Honda fanboy anyway, as you can see by all the stuff behind me actually. So I paid just under £7,000 for the bike, and as I said, it did have a full aero system on, but it's a bit noisy, so the original system is now back on. What can I say? Let's have a look at the bike then. So tank capacity wise, 18.8 litres, which is 4.2 gallons. No reserve tap on them. Not many bikes have a reserve tap on them these days, and the reserve is about 0.7 of a gallon. So over here on the island, which is 9 miles by 5 miles, typically you're looking at 41 miles per gallon. So that's up and down the gearbox all the time, and we have an island speed limit of 40 miles an hour, sadly to say. So with that 41 miles an hour, 41 miles per gallon indicated on the display on the dash there, the average miles per gallon, that gives me a range of about 140 miles until we then hit the reserve, which will then give me 28 to 30 miles. So I've taken it away to France, which is about 40 miles just down the road to the south of us on the ferry. And even if you said 55 miles to the gallon indicated on the dash there, that's going to give you a range of about 188 miles to hit reserve, and then that will give you maybe another 41 miles until the tank is totally dry. So that's what you're looking at in relation to the fuel. Seat height, I'm 5'9", 32-inch leg, and I've got the seat on the highest setting. It goes down about half an inch lower. I can't flat foot it on the higher seat. It's a bit more than tippy toe, so it's all right. But obviously these tall bikes, if you brake quickly, come to a yellow line, you get a bit of a wobble on, then depending on the camber, the road, you might have a bit of a heart-stopping moment as you lower your foot to touch terra firma. But if you find that's a problem, then you can always go down to the lower seat as well. But I'm 5'9", and generally it's not really too much of a problem as well. So basically, what have I put on the bike really? So I've put quite a few things on there. I've got a list, a crib sheet, so I'm going to have a look at that. So yeah, I've had the bike for 2 years now. So what have you put on it? So I've put on the Honda OEM accessory socket. That's a 12-volt socket, so you can plug you know, your phones, your GoPros, your GPSs in if you want to. I've also put in the OEM auxiliary fog light switch, and then we've got the Oxford heated grips, which are absolutely brilliant, very cost effective. I think the Honda wants something like, I don't know, over 200 quid for a set of heated grips, which is ridiculous. So the Oxford heated grips are a lot more cheaper, certainly cheaper than the OEM ones, and they're wired just direct to the battery, and they're intelligent. So if you walk away from the bike having left them on, it'll get to a certain voltage and it will cut the power to the heater grips off as well, so that's not too much of a problem. Yeah, it's the good old throttle cable, so it's not advanced as some of the fly-by-wire throttle systems. So been touring to France a few times, and yeah, as we all know, the old wrist gets a bit sore, so I just put on one of these, they call it the Atlas throttle lock, which is basically a friction lock which just squeezes a rubber pad between the twist grip and the throttle housing, and you basically just lock it, but you can still move it if you need to, and then you can just release it when you want to come off the fixed speed. Obviously if you go up a hill, it's not fly by wire, so the bike will slow down a little bit, but that's no problem. You just twist the grip a little bit and get your allocated speed. So that's been really useful, very, very easy to fit as well. That's the Atlas throttle lock. Yeah, I've done away with the white standard handguards and gone for the Barkbuster Storm guards. Not sure whether black was the right colour to go for. I think white would look better in fairness, but there we go. And they're slightly higher, more of a frontal area than the standard Barkbuster guards. Great for wet weather, they're really, really good. So yeah, the Batson screen adjuster, so we can raise the screen up and down. That's been pretty useful actually. And then around the clocks, there is a little bar above the clocks that some people mount their GPS to, but some people have had that snapping. So I've just got a, I can't remember the name of the company, I'll put a link below. I'll put a link for everything below that I've mentioned. There's a company that do a surround, tubular surround, where you can actually mount things on, and I've got my Garmin GPS mounted on there as well, so that's not going to cause any damage or any breaking of any welds on the OEM stuff. So that's something else we've got on there, and I can't remember the name of the company, but again, everything will be in a link below. Yeah, SW Motec crash bars, so they've been put on. I've already dropped it once when we went off-road in the UK in June last year. Hit a rut and over I went, so that's protected this bodywork. So SW Motec stuff is on there, and you can still take these panels off to fit around with the bike if you want to as well. Yeah, I've put INOV cameras on the front and the rear, just in case, you know, somebody pulls out in front of you and need some evidence to give to the police. That's been very good. So they're pretty easy to fit. That took me about an hour to fit it. Nothing too complicated. And that's wired into the ignition switch as well, which was at the that was a plug in the back of the under the rear passenger seat. The passenger seat. There was a dummy plug there, which was a switched ignition seashells on the seashore or something like that. So yeah, so the front and rear cameras are there. SW Motec tank ring to put my bag on, which is up there. Again, I'll put the luggage on and show you what I've got. What else is there? So we've spoken about heater grips, that cameras. Oh yeah, the Denali spotlights, fog lights. The D2's very small, as you can see here. Operated by the OEM fog light switch, which I've fitted. Brilliant. I cannot say enough how good these little lights are, and they even do, well, they do bigger ones, but these lights are absolutely amazing. And yeah, makes night riding a total joy. Really, really good. Even but I predominantly got them for riding in the daylight as a safety feature, really, so other people can see me a little bit easier, as they say, so they've got no excuse. And what else have I done? Yeah, I've put the 3M tape conversion. As you know, the bike comes with tube tyres, which if you get a puncture 3 o'clock in the morning, lashing it down rain on the motorway with your wife on the back, she ain't going to be happy, because it's going to be a bitch to change the tubes out. But I've got all the kit for, I've still got all the kit for changing the inner tubes, but I decided not a chance. So I haven't gone down the tubeless wheels part. I've just looked on YouTube and done a 3M tape conversion. But if you're not happy with it, don't do it. But I've mounted the 90-degree valves on there as well, just to make the pumping the tyres up even better. And I've had that conversion now for over a year, and it's been absolutely spot on. No complaints with that whatsoever. So I'd recommend that if you're happy in doing it, obviously. So yeah, really happy with the tape conversion. So the wheels, well, the tyres are now tubeless. When I bought the bike, it came with Pirelli Scorpion Trail 2s, which were quite a sports tourer kind of tyre, which you could go up some gravel tracks. But I wanted something that looked a bit more beefy, that sort of went with the bike. So I've got the Scorpion Rally STRs on them. Had them on for about a year now, done 2,000 miles or thereabouts. Brilliant tyre. There's no blocky feeling as the wheels are rotating, and in fact you can throw the bike around just as good as if you were on the Scorpion Trail 2. So I would certainly recommend those if most of the time you're spent on the tarmac stuff and you want to do a little bit of off-road but nothing too serious. But for me, they work really well, and I'm more than happy with them. No humming from those tyres, and you certainly can't feel the blocks on the tyres whatsoever, but they are quite big blocks, as you can see from the video. So what else have we got to talk about then? So yeah, that's everything I've done on the bike. So what do I like about the bike? I do like the looks, I have to say. I think they're really good. It's a very simple bike. You can do the work yourself if you want to tinker with the bike. And the engine is really good. A lot of low down torque, but as I've mentioned before, it's not as powerful as the KTM or the GS, so it runs out of puff a little bit towards the top end of the rev range, but for me over here it's certainly got enough punch to it for the kind of stuff that I'm going to be doing. So yeah, I really like that. Dislikes kind of thing, the spoked wheel, for some reason they put a cheap old kind of spoke on there, so they do tarnish a little bit, which is a bit of a pain in the backside. I've already mentioned the tube tyres. Why Honda can't give you the option to go tube or tubeless, I really don't know. And the big thing that catches everybody out is the horn and the turn switch. Again, why Honda didn't put the horn switch below the indicator switch, I do not know. Even now, I still have to sometimes look for the horn button, which at that critical time, with somebody pulling out in front of you, if you're thinking about sounding your horn, yeah, it can be a bit of an issue. But I guess if you're just riding one bike and not seat swapping, then you should really get used to that. But like I say, I'm not on the bike every day. I'm pretty much a fair weather kind of guy. So my muscle memory is still back on the old kind of switch gear with the horn below the turn indicator. So that's it, guys. I really like the bike. What I'll do now, I'll just show you the kind of luggage I fitted for it. It's the SW Motec. I think it's the Trax Adventure system. The Trax Adventure side cases, and obviously the top case as well. We've got the mounting plate on here, which is required to put the top case on, and there's a couple of mounting points which you have to put on prior to obviously being able to use the cases. So there's 3 bits in total to put on the bike, one either side on the foot pegs, and then something that sits across the rear mudguard below the rear number plate light, and that just helps tie everything together. So what I do, I'll come around the other side of the bike, and then I'll just show you how quickly you can put these cases on. I reckon you can get them on in, I don't know, a couple of minutes and you're ready to go. So without further ado, let's do that. Oh, one thing I forgot to do, my bike didn't come with a centre stand, so I've put the centre stand on there then, and I actually bought the OEM Honda centre stand. Makes things a lot easier for lubing the chain and just keeping the bike in the garage. Takes up a little bit less space. So yeah, sorry, I forgot about that. So I'm going to switch over to me putting the luggage on the bike. So here we go. Here we go, guys. So we've got the side mounted plate. There's 2 of these, but I'm just going to do the one on the right hand side. So what I need to do is grab flat bladed screwdriver, and I haven't done this for a while actually, because I haven't put them on for a while. So basically the 2 lugs hook on the top there. As I mentioned, we've got the number plate bracket in the area of the number plate, one there. So that's the mountain rack on. The right hand side case comes with some very nice storage bags. Gonna whip that out, try not to rip it, says he. And there we go, that's the mounting side, and it just sits on the 4 round lugs. And that's on. I need to get the key. Comes with it. You can buy however many locks you want, so you just use 1 key. So that's the key I'm going to use. Again, I'll show in the video how we connect these. So that's on there. Just going to get the top case there's the top case again, says here, and it's secured with using the key as well. So it's really good stuff. I absolutely love it. That's it. So I don't know how long that took, but I'm going to come around the side of the bike. So there we go. So I don't know how long that's got to be, less than 2 minutes to put those two on, and the third case is seconds to put that on. So yeah, really good. Absolutely love these cases. Big issues I had with them was do I go black? Do I go the aluminium finish? Yeah, so that was a bit of a problem. Took me like 48 hours to work out, do I go black or do I go metal finish? That was an issue. In the end I went for black, and I think they look pretty good actually. What else is there to say in relation to those cases? Just trying to think now what else I was going to say. Yeah, really good. Yeah, I've nailed it around the twisties with these cases on, and not an issue whatsoever. You just might have to tweak the suspension a little bit if you've got a bit more weight on the back. But yeah, my wife sits on the back. I've got put on the comfort foot pegs from Honda, so she's got a bit more of a wider platform for her feet to go on. Other than that, yeah, they look really smart, they look beefy. As I say, most of the time I spent on the tarmac, so there's always that argument with the soft bags, soft side cases, that if you're off-road and you go down, then you're not going to risk having your foot trapped underneath it. But yeah, you pay your money, you take your chance, or whatever the saying is. But for me, I've just gone for the hard cases. They're lockable, so you can chuck stuff in there, walk away, and they're not going to get well, there's more of a deterrent for them not being broken into. I guess if somebody wants to walk off with them, then they can take a hacksaw to it or whatever. But there is a bolt on here that you can actually use your key to lock it, so they can't remove, as you saw me install them, you cannot remove the mounting brackets and walk away with everything, as they say. So yeah, summing up then, I really like the bike. It's a great bike. I think what I'll do in the next video, I'll fire it up and we'll go for a little bit of a spin. I hope you enjoyed the video. I think it's about 20 minutes long. So, but if you're in the market for a Honda Africa Twin, one of the earlier ones, as I say, this is 2017, you ain't going to go wrong. It's not the quickest bike in relation to these 1000cc and above adventure bikes, but it's a great comfortable bike. I absolutely love it. It's got a lot, in my view, it's got a lot of character, and I like the look of it. So as I said, it's going to be with me for a few more years to come, I hope. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Give us a thumbs up, make any comments. As I said, I just thought I'd put this video together. If there's anybody out there looking to buy a used second-hand sort of 2017-ish, one of the first Africa Twins, the CRF 1000s. So that's it, guys. Stay safe. Speak to you soon.